There is a quiet kind of strangeness that can arrive at night. Not suddenly, not loudly. It does not always feel frightening. Sometimes, it is only a small shift in the room. The walls look the same. The window is still there. Your phone is beside you. The same ceiling is above you. And yet, for a moment, ordinary reality feels slightly unusual. Maybe you are lying in bed after a long day. Maybe the lights are low. Maybe the world outside has become quiet. There is no conversation, no work task, no place to be. Only the soft sound of your own thoughts moving through the dark. And in that quiet, the mind begins to notice itself. It may ask strange questions. Why does this room feel so still? Why does my life feel far away? Why does time feel different at night? Why do I feel like I am here, but also slightly distant from everything? These thoughts can feel unusual, but they are also very human. Tonight, we are going to explore that feeling gently. Why reality can feel strange when you think too much at night. Not as something dramatic, not as something to fear, but as a quiet meeting point between attention, memory, tiredness, and the sleeping brain. This is designed for calm listening. You do not need to solve anything as you listen. You can simply let the ideas move slowly, like lights passing behind a curtain. If you are resting, let yourself rest. If you are thinking, let the thoughts become softer. And if you are drifting toward sleep, you can let parts of this fade in and out. The mind does not need to hold every word. To understand why reality can feel strange, we can begin with a simple idea. The brain does not receive reality like a camera. It builds reality. Moment by moment, it takes in light, sound, pressure, memory, expectation, emotion, and bodily feeling. Then it weaves these signals into a world that feels stable. Most of the time, this happens so smoothly that we never notice it. You look at a chair, and it is simply a chair. You hear a car outside, and it is simply traffic. You walk through your home, and it feels familiar. The mind does not need to announce all the work it is doing. It quietly holds the world together. But at night, the conditions change. There is less movement. There are fewer people around. There is less daylight. The body is tired. The brain is beginning to prepare for sleep, and the ordinary flow of the day starts to loosen. What felt solid in the afternoon can feel softer after midnight. This does not mean reality has changed. It means your way of experiencing it has changed. The same room can feel different depending on your state of mind. A kitchen in the morning can feel practical and bright. The same kitchen at 2 a.m. can feel almost like a stage set, still, silent, slightly unreal. This is because perception is not only about what is outside you, it is also about what is happening inside you. Your attention, your energy, your emotions, your memories, your level of tiredness, your sense of safety, all of these can tint the world very quietly. During the day, the mind is pulled outward. There are messages to answer, meals to make, sounds in the street, faces, tasks, small decisions. Even when life is ordinary, the day gives the mind many anchors. These anchors help reality feel shared and obvious. At night, many of those anchors disappear. The world becomes less busy. Other people become less available. The usual rhythm slows down, And when there is less outside noise, the mind may turn inward. It may begin listening to itself more closely than it did during the day. This is one reason silence can make thoughts feel louder. The thoughts may not actually be louder. There may simply be less competing with them. A small worry that was hidden beneath daytime activity can feel larger in a quiet room. A memory can become more vivid. A question can repeat itself. The mind is a pattern-making system. It tries to connect things. It tries to explain feelings. It tries to predict what will happen next. This ability is useful. It helps us learn. It helps us plan. It helps us move through the world. But late at night, the same ability can turn in circles. A tired mind may not solve a question. It may loop around it. Why did I say that? What if tomorrow goes badly? Why do I feel strange? Why does everything feel different right now? The mind asks. Then it asks again. And the act of asking can make the feeling seem more important. There is a gentle paradox here. The more closely we inspect the feeling of being real, the stranger it can become. Most experiences are easiest when we do not stare directly at them. Walking feels natural until you think too carefully about every step. Speaking feels natural until you notice every word leaving your mouth. Reality can be similar when you are simply living. The world feels ordinary, but when you begin asking, again and again, why anything feels real at all, the obviousness can thin out. Not because the world is less real, but because your attention has moved from living inside the moment to observing the moment from a distance. This distance can feel strange. You may feel like you are watching yourself think, or watching yourself lie in bed, or noticing the room as if it belonged to someone else. For many people, this can happen briefly during stress, exhaustion, or deep late-night reflection. It can feel odd, but it is not unusual for the mind to shift perspective. The brain is always balancing two worlds: the outer world of objects, sounds, and places, and the inner world of thoughts, memories, and imagination. During the day, the outer world often leads. At night, the inner world may become stronger. The boundary between the two can feel a little softer. This is especially true when sleep is approaching. Before sleep, the brain does not simply switch off. It changes gradually. Awareness becomes lighter. Images may appear. Thoughts may become less logical. Memories may drift into imagined scenes. The mind begins to loosen its daytime grip. This in-between state is sometimes called hypnagogia. It is the borderland between waking and sleeping. In this state, people may notice dreamlike images, fragments of conversations, a sudden thought that does not quite make sense, the feeling of falling, or the sense that the room is both present and far away. These experiences can seem mysterious, but they belong to the ordinary architecture of sleep. The brain is moving from one mode of consciousness into another. The waking world is still there, but the dreaming mind is beginning to warm up, like a radio picking up another station in the dark. This is one reason nighttime strangeness can feel hard to explain. It is not only thought, it is not only tiredness, it is not only emotion, it is the meeting of many small changes at once. The body is resting, the room is quiet, the senses are dimmed, the brain is preparing for sleep. When these changes happen together, the ordinary world can feel slightly dreamlike. A lamp may seem too bright. A hallway may seem longer than usual. Your own reflection may feel unfamiliar for a second. A familiar object may appear oddly separate from its meaning. You know what it is, but it feels strange to be noticing it. This happens because familiarity is not only stored in the object, it is created by the brain. A cup feels like your cup because memory, habit, touch, and context all come together. Your room feels like your room because the brain has mapped it many times. It knows where things belong. It predicts what you will see. But when you are tired or emotionally overloaded, prediction can feel less smooth. The mind may still recognize the room, but the feeling of automatic familiarity may be weaker, so the room becomes both known and strange. Not unknown, not dangerous, just oddly noticeable. There is a phrase people sometimes use for this. They say, "Everything feels unreal," or "I feel like I am in a dream." In psychology, there are terms for experiences where the world or the self feels distant. But in this video, we are not diagnosing anything. We are simply looking at the softer, everyday edge of that feeling. Many people have brief moments when life feels dreamlike. After a long journey, after staring at a screen for hours, after a stressful day, after not sleeping enough, after hearing surprising news, or late at night, when the mind has become too quiet and too active at the same time. The strange part is that the feeling can feed on attention. If you notice it and become afraid of it, the body may become more alert. The heart may beat faster. The mind may search for explanations, and the search itself can make the moment feel even more unusual. But if the feeling is met gently, it often softens. The room is still the room. The bed is still the bed. The night is still passing. Thoughts are moving through awareness. The body is tired, and the brain is doing what brains do. It is trying to make sense of experience. Another reason reality can feel strange at night is that time changes shape. Clock time remains the same. A minute is still a minute. An hour is still an hour. But felt time is more flexible. It stretches and contracts with attention. It changes with emotion. It changes with memory. It changes with tiredness. During a busy day, time may move in blocks. Morning, work, food, messages, travel, evening, each part has a shape. At night, those shapes can disappear. Minutes may feel longer, or they may vanish. You may look at the clock and feel surprised by how much time has passed. This can make reality feel less solid. The world feels stable, partly because time feels stable. When time becomes strange, everything around it can feel strange too. A quiet hour in bed can feel larger than an hour during the day. A few minutes of thought can feel like a long inner journey. This can make reality feel less solid. The world feels stable, partly because time feels stable. When time becomes strange, everything around it can feel strange too. A quiet hour in bed can feel larger than an hour during the day. A few minutes of thought can feel like a long inner journey. Memory also becomes more active at night. For many people, not always in a clear way. Sometimes, memories arrive as fragments. A face, a sentence, a place you have not visited in years. a version of yourself from a different time. The mind may bring these pieces forward without asking permission. When memory mixes with the present, the room can feel layered. You are here, but part of you is also in yesterday, or childhood, or a future you are imagining. The body is in one place, the mind is moving through many places. This can make the present feel thinner. At night, the mind may also review the self. Who am I becoming? Why did life turn out this way? What happened to all those earlier years? Why do I feel like time is passing so quickly? These questions can feel heavy if we try to answer them all at once, but they can also be seen as signs of a reflective mind. The human mind does not only live, it watches life, it remembers life, it imagines life. It compares the present with what might have been. It creates a story about the person we are. And late at night, when the world is quiet, that story can become very noticeable. This is why overthinking can make reality feel strange. The mind begins to stand outside the flow of life and look at it. It looks at the day. It looks at the body. It looks at the room. It looks at time. It looks at the fact of being alive, and for a moment, ordinary existence feels surprising. There is nothing wrong with being surprised by existence. In fact, many philosophers, scientists, and artists have lived close to that feeling. The feeling that ordinary life is not ordinary at all. That consciousness itself is strange. That a quiet room, a sleeping city, and a thinking mind are already mysterious. There is nothing wrong with being surprised by existence. In fact, many philosophers, scientists, and artists have lived close to that feeling. The feeling that ordinary life is not ordinary at all. That consciousness itself is strange. That a quiet room, a sleeping city, and a thinking mind are already mysterious. But at night, this wonder can mix with tiredness, and tired wonder can become uneasy. A question that might feel beautiful in daylight can feel too large at 1 a.m. The mind may open doors it does not have the energy to walk through. It may ask deep questions when what the body really needs is rest. This is why the timing matters. A thought is not only a thought. It arrives inside a body. A rested body may hold a thought lightly. A tired body may hold the same thought tightly. After a long day, the nervous system can be more sensitive. Small feelings can become sharper. When the body is tired, attention may become narrower. It may lock onto one idea, one sensation, one strange feeling, and when attention narrows, the rest of the world can fade slightly. This can make the chosen thought feel huge, as if it is the only thing in the room. But attention can widen again. It can return to simple things: the feeling of the blanket, the weight of the body, the sound of the room, the slow rhythm of breathing, the awareness that thoughts can be present without needing to be followed. This widening is often quiet. It does not need force. Another part of the modern story is screens. Many people spend the evening moving between bright windows of information. Messages, videos, news, images, opinions, work, entertainment. The mind is asked to switch worlds again and again, and then, suddenly, it is expected to become still. That transition is not always easy. One moment, the brain is absorbing fast images and endless choices. The next moment, it is lying in a dark room with nothing to do. The contrast can feel strange. The mind may continue scrolling internally even when the screen is gone. Thoughts keep refreshing themselves. Modern life gives the brain more stimulation than it can fully digest in real time, so the quiet hours may become a kind of sorting room. The mind replays, compares, regrets, imagines, predicts. It opens unfinished tabs from the day, and some of those tabs contain feelings we did not have time to feel earlier. This can make the night feel mentally crowded, even when the room is empty. Outside, there may be silence. Inside, there may be many voices. Not literal voices, but remembered conversations, possible futures, half-formed worries, old scenes, questions without endings. When the inner world becomes crowded, the outer world can feel distant. This is one reason a person can be physically safe in bed and still feel mentally far away. The brain is not only responding to the room, it is responding to everything it is carrying. The day does not fully end when the lights go out. The nervous system has its own pace. It may need time to settle. A body that spent the day alert cannot always become calm. In 1 minute, a mind that spent the day solving problems may keep searching for problems, not because it wants to disturb you, but because it has learned to keep watch. This watchfulness can be useful in some situations, but in bed, it can feel misplaced. The body is horizontal. The room is dark. The day is over. Yet the mind may still be standing guard. It may scan for unfinished tasks, for social mistakes, for future risks, for any reason not to let go yet. Sometimes, reality feels strange because the brain is caught between two instructions: stay alert and fall asleep. These two states pull in different directions. Alertness sharpens the world. Sleep softens it. When both are present, experience can become odd. Too awake to dream, too tired to think clearly. This middle state can produce unusual thoughts. A normal object may seem symbolic. A small sound may feel important. A memory may feel close enough to touch. An idea may seem profound for a few minutes and then disappear. By morning, the nighttime mind is not always wrong, but it is often in a different mode. Morning has a way of changing the scale of things. A thought that filled the whole room at night may become smaller after sleep. The same problem may still exist, but it may no longer feel infinite. This is one of the quiet mercies of rest. It does not erase life, but it can change the mind that returns to life. Sleep is not an empty state. The brain remains active. It moves through stages. It changes its rhythms. It processes memory. It supports learning. It helps regulate emotion. It dreams. It does many things beneath awareness that we are still learning to understand. Before sleep, the brain begins to loosen its hold on the waking world. This can feel peaceful. It can also feel strange. The mind may stop organizing thoughts in a straight line. One idea may lead to another for no clear reason. A sentence may appear and then dissolve. Images may come from nowhere. If you have ever been almost asleep and suddenly noticed a strange image in your mind, you have felt this border. Maybe a face, a road, a room, a sound, a memory that was not quite a memory. These small dream fragments remind us that the sleeping mind does not begin all at once. It arrives softly. The border between waking and dreaming is one of the most interesting places in human experience. It is a place where logic becomes looser, where memory and imagination begin to share the same space, where the self that plans and explains starts to fade, and another kind of mind begins to speak in images. So, if reality feels strange at night, part of that strangeness may come from standing near this border. You are still aware of the room, but the dreaming process may already be beginning. You are still thinking, but your thoughts may be losing their daytime edges. The world is still real, but your experience of it is changing. There is also the simple fact of darkness. Human beings are deeply shaped by light. Daylight gives the world detail, distance, and color. Darkness removes some of that information. It softens corners. It hides edges. It makes familiar spaces less complete. The brain fills in what it cannot clearly see. In low light, the mind may rely more on memory and expectation. You know where the door is. You know where the chair is. You know the shape of the room. But because the senses have less information, imagination has more room to move. This can make the night feel more symbolic than the day. A hallway is not only a hallway at night. It can become a passage. A window is not only glass. It can become a dark mirror. A clock is not only a clock. It can become a reminder of time passing. Night changes the emotional meaning of objects. The same is true for sound. In the day, sounds blend together. At night, a single sound can stand alone. A distant car, a floorboard, the hum of a device, wind against a window. Because there is less noise overall, each sound can feel more present, more separate, more alive. This can make the world feel larger and emptier at the same time. The city may be full of people, but from your room, it may feel like everyone has disappeared. There is a loneliness built into some hours of the night, not necessarily sadness, just the awareness of being one mind, awake in the dark. This awareness can be tender. It can make a person feel small. It can also make life feel precious. The quiet of night can reveal how much of the day is noise. When the noise falls away, we may feel the strange fact of being here, breathing, remembering, waiting for sleep. For some people, this feeling brings curiosity. For others, it brings discomfort. Often, it brings both. The mind is drawn to mystery, but it also wants stability. It wants to ask deep questions, but it also wants the comfort of ordinary things. So, the night can become a conversation between wonder and reassurance. Reality feels strange, and then the blanket feels warm. Time feels mysterious, and then the pillow is simply soft. The mind asks what it means to exist, and then the body asks for sleep. Both are true. The large question and the small comfort can share the same room. One helpful way to understand nighttime strangeness is to see it as a change in perspective. During the day, you may be inside your life. At night, you may feel like you are looking at your life. The distance can be unsettling, but it can also be gentle. It is the mind stepping back from the rush. From that distance, ordinary things can look different. Your routines, your worries, your memories, the people you miss, the future you imagine, the person you used to be, the person you are becoming. At night, these may all appear in a softer, stranger light. This does not mean every thought deserves to be followed. Some thoughts are only tired thoughts. Some worries are only the nervous system asking for certainty it cannot have. Some strange feelings are only signs that the brain is changing state. Not every door that appears in the mind needs to be opened. You can notice a thought without entering it. You can hear a question without answering it. You can feel a strange feeling without building a story around it. This is not avoidance. It is a gentle recognition that night is not always the best time to solve the deepest things. Some thoughts can wait for daylight. Daylight has more anchors: movement, food, voices, color, routine, the body upright, the world returning. In the morning, the mind often has more context. It can sort what the night made large. It can see which thoughts were useful and which were only echoes. This is one reason reality usually feels more solid after rest. The brain has re-entered the shared world. The senses are brighter. The body has more energy. The day provides structure. The same room that felt strange at midnight may feel completely ordinary again, while sunlight crosses the floor. There is a kindness in remembering that states change. A strange feeling is not the whole truth. A tired thought is not the final truth. A night mood is not a life sentence. The mind moves. The body changes. Sleep comes in waves. Morning comes slowly, and experience keeps reshaping itself. If reality feels strange because you have been thinking too much, it may help to understand that thinking is not separate from reality. Thinking is part of reality too. A thought is something the brain is doing. A feeling is something the body is experiencing. A question is an event inside awareness. It rises, it stays, it changes, it passes. The mind can make a mirror out of anything. A dark window, a quiet room, a memory, a sentence, the feeling of time. When the mind looks too long into the mirror, it may begin to feel separated from what it sees. But the separation is not always as deep as it feels. You are not outside life. You are inside it, even when you are observing it, even when you are questioning it, even when it feels strange. The act of noticing reality is itself a part of being real. The mind is not floating away from the world. It is one of the ways the world becomes known. This can be a comforting thought. The strangeness does not have to be an enemy. It can be a sign that consciousness is deep and sensitive. It can be a sign that your mind is tired and needs gentleness. It can be a sign that the day was full. It can be a sign that sleep is near. Of course, if feelings of unreality are intense, frequent, or distressing, it is always okay to seek support from a qualified professional. There is no need to handle difficult experiences alone. But for the softer, late-night strangeness, many people know, understanding can make the feeling less lonely. It can become something human, something the mind sometimes does. The night has always changed human thought. Long before phones, long before electric light, people sat near fires, listened to wind, watched stars, remembered the dead, wondered about dreams, wondered about time, wondered why consciousness exists at all. The night has always invited the mind inward. In that sense, your late-night thoughts are part of a very old human pattern. When the world becomes quiet, the mind begins to echo. It fills the space with memory, imagination, and meaning. Sometimes this feels beautiful. Sometimes it feels heavy. Sometimes it feels strange. But it is not new. There is a reason stars have always made people philosophical. There is a reason darkness has always been linked with dreams. When there is less to see nearby, the mind reaches farther. It reaches into the past, into the future, into the invisible, into questions too large for daytime errands. But even the largest thoughts can be held softly. You do not have to finish the universe tonight. You do not have to understand time before sleeping. You do not have to explain every strange feeling. The mind may ask, and the body may answer. With tiredness, sometimes tiredness is the wiser voice. Rest is not a failure to solve the question. Rest is part of how the question changes. Many thoughts become clearer after sleep. Many feelings become lighter. Many strange moods pass without needing a dramatic explanation. The brain continues its quiet work in the dark. It does not need constant supervision. So if you are listening at night and the room feels a little unreal, you might simply notice the conditions around you: the lower light, the quieter world, the tired body, the active mind, the closeness of sleep, the way thoughts become larger when there is less noise around them. You might remember that reality is not only a thing outside you. It is also an experience your brain is continuously creating. When the brain is tired, the experience can shift. When attention turns inward, the world can feel distant. When sleep approaches, the edges can soften. And then, slowly, the ordinary world can return. Not through force, not through argument, but through simple contact. The pillow beneath the head, the air in the room, the gentle weight of the body, the fact that nothing needs to be decided this second. The night can be allowed to be night. There is no need to chase every thought. Thoughts are not commands. They are weather. They move through the mind. Some are clear, some are strange, some are useful, some are only the residue of a long day. You can let them pass without naming each one. Reality may feel strange when you think too much at night, because the mind is doing many things at once. It is remembering, predicting, protecting, imagining, preparing for sleep, listening to silence, trying to understand itself. That is a lot for one tired mind to carry. So perhaps the answer is not to think harder. Perhaps the answer is to soften the grip, to let the question remain unfinished, to let the room be simple again, to let the night hold what the day could not finish, to trust that not every mystery needs to be solved before morning. The world is still here, quietly. The walls, the window, the distant sounds, the dark shape of the room, the body resting, the mind slowly changing. The ordinary world does not need to feel ordinary every moment in order to be real. Sometimes, reality feels strange because we have finally become quiet enough to notice it, not just the objects around us, but the strange fact of awareness itself, the fact that there is a world, the fact that there is a mind experiencing it, the fact that day after day, this becomes normal, until night makes it unfamiliar again. And maybe that is part of being human. To live inside a mystery, so constant that we usually forget it is mysterious. To wake, to work, to remember, to worry, to dream, to lie in the dark, and wonder why anything feels the way it does. The mind can make the familiar strange, but it can also make the strange familiar. Again, it can return to the small world, the breath, the blanket, the quiet, the next minute, the next soft thought, the gradual pull of sleep. Reality does not have to be understood all at once. For now, it can be enough to rest inside it, to let the room be a room, to let the night be dark, to let thoughts come and go, to let the mind do less, and if sleep comes, to let the waking world fade gently without needing to hold on. Because every night, in a quiet and ordinary way, reality already becomes strange. We close our eyes. We leave the room without moving. We enter dreams. We forget the bed for a while, and then later we return. Morning gathers the world again. Light restores the edges. The familiar comes back. So, if tonight feels a little unreal, maybe it is not a sign that something has gone wrong. Maybe it is only the mind standing at the edge of sleep, the day behind it, the dream world ahead, a quiet room around it, and too many thoughts passing through at once. Let the thoughts slow down if they want to. Let the questions become softer. Let the world be simple. You are here. The night is here. The mind is tired. And reality, even when it feels strange, is still gently holding you. There is nothing more you need to do with this thought right now. You can leave it here, like a book closed beside the bed, like a light turned low, like a question waiting peacefully for another day. For now, this can simply be a quiet place to rest. And as the night continues, the mind may keep moving for a while. That is okay. It has moved all day. It may need a little time to settle, but it does not have to be followed everywhere. Some thoughts can pass like distant cars, not ignored, not fought, only allowed to move on. The room remains, the body rests, the dark becomes softer, and somewhere beneath all the thinking, sleep waits quietly, not as a command, not as a demand, but as a natural return, a slow closing of the distance between you and the night. So, let the final idea be simple. Reality can feel strange at night because the mind is tired, quiet, sensitive, and awake to itself. It is building the world with fewer anchors and more imagination. It is standing near the border of sleep, and it is noticing the mystery that daytime often covers. There is no need to be afraid of that mystery. You can meet it softly. You can let it pass through. You can return to the ordinary things, the breath, the bed, the room, the night, the simple fact that, for now, rest is enough.